Hello everyone, this is CyberEric with another gameplay overview and impressions video, and this is for Doom: The Dark Ages. So we'll be going over some of the gameplay elements and impressions of the game. And we're gonna actually start with, as always, as I like to do, basic movement, what it means to basically play the game. Basically gonna run around, you can jump, shoot. You have a shield for this Doom particular game, right? Other games didn't have a shield. You can walk around, you can climb ledges, etc, etc. And we'll show some of the gameplay in a quick bit. But first, I also want to go over the controls. So these are basically the controls when you pause the game. I'll show you the controls here. You can pause this if you want to see it in more detail. Basic first-person shooter basis, right trigger to shoot. I've got another couple of buttons here, and we'll go over some of the logistics of the game. And well, we'll actually start this with some quick combat. This is the first level of the game, just to kind of show you guys what it is. Then we see the game expands as you go into combat. But here, you can basically see you're running around, enemies will attack you, all these demons. You can block with your shield. You can also bash and dash with it, which is one of the most fun mechanics I've seen in the game in a while. And again, here's the shield bash again, you can actually see. I basically just have the one shotgun at the moment. You also have obviously melee combat and some triggers for different enemies. But basically that's the basis of it. Or you see a first-person shooter, very combat heavy. There's some exploration that we'll show in a second. And basically that's it. That's a finisher that you'll see when they go purple. And that's the basis of it. So please, real quick reminder while I'm here, please subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps the views, and it just helps my making more of this content for you guys. So alright, so the other things I wanted to showcase also are the pickup items, basically. Where you see as you're playing, you're gonna be different items on the ground. You have things for health, shield, and ammo. And those are the basic things that enemies will drop. Depending on how you kill them, you also get different drops, like melees will drop, like, I think, ammo. These are more health potions. This is also a melee item. This is where you charge your melee. That is what I'm showcasing here. And I'm actually gonna spend it here against one of these enemies, so you guys can see at the bottom there, you should see the number 3 went down to 2. That means that you used the melee item or abilities that you have there. So, in addition to combat, we also have exploration, and I'm gonna go over a quick overview of the map. So this is the map that you have in Doom: The Dark Ages. You can move around in complete 3D. Red spots means most likely enemy encounters. That doesn't mean that those are the only places where you will see enemies. Just be prepared for that. And the game obviously has a little bit of like a mini open world where you can actually climb, explore around, and that's where you have the map. The map is very useful, and I'll showcase a little bit of how it helps you find little secrets here and there. So here I am exploring, and I found some sort of like a codex or item that'll give you more towards the lore. So that's some of the movement. Alright, another things you'll see, this is classic Doom thing that you will see. You will also find rooms with secret key requirements. So as you play the levels, you will look for the secret keys, and you will be able to unlock those areas. As we move along, again, as I mentioned, as you explore, you'll find, and this is me showing the map here. I'm running around, right? Not a red indicator. You'll find this like where I'm literally locked into this little room. And it's more like small challenge rooms where you have to basically defeat enemies or other things that the game asks you to do to open basically the lock. And in this case, I basically unlock a life sigil, which is more like one of those items to help you revive if you go down. And there's other secrets, etc, etc. So a little bit more on the exploration. And then again, this is the first stage. There's no many spoilers, but if you look at the map, and I'm going to open the map here in a second, you see that if you use the map well, you can notice that there's, for example, a ledge down there that I could have gone to, right? I'm rotating in 3D, so I'm like, oh, perfect. I know I can jump down there and find some particular secrets. So here it is. There's a particular secret area. And again, as I mentioned, sometimes there will be challenges where you have to face enemies to unlock particular things. But that's basically it. Feel free to explore, have fun. If you fall from the map, you don't actually lose health, from my experience. So just explore around. Real quick here, just some more gameplay, just to show you some of the moment-to-moment gameplay of how it is. And here I am going back into it, and obviously as you play through the game and progress, you will unlock new weapons. In this case, I'm going to unlock a new weapon called the Shredder here in a second. Right? And again, you will unlock them as you play the different levels. You unlock different weapons and other things, which I will show in a second with the shield upgrades, etc, etc. But again, you'll get tutorials as to how to use the weapons. You can also upgrade these later. I'll show the store where you can upgrade these later in the video. But here is a new weapon. Now this is more like a machine gun style kind of thing. Or you can switch with the weapon wheel. And you can basically just, right, do the same thing, shield bash. And use the trigger to kind of damage the enemy. And that's basically what you're going to be doing, right? First person shooter. Again, this is just the intro stages of the game so you guys can see the gameplay and some of the new weapons. And again, you'll unlock a lot of new weapons as we go through. So what else? So again, I'm just, there you go, walking around picking items. As always, as I mentioned, exploration is also part of the game. So if you look in the corner here, for example, I'm showing here, you see a ledge. Hey, jump down there, check it out. You might find secrets. And again, you can use the map to help you, but feel free to explore and find new things. And also recharge your shields and health as needed. And here's how I found a particular toy. So here it is, for example, this is later in the level. You'll find the secret key. That's the key to the secret room that we found there. And you'll find those throughout the map as needed. And you will see them here. So one of the combat things that new for Doom the Dark Ages is the new Parry System, where you have the shield and you can parry enemy attacks. So the enemy attacks you want to look for are the green ones right here. So here I am, and that's a kind of parry. And that basically stuns the enemy so I can kill him with the melee and get some of the ammo. Here I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. Here's another attack, just to show you that's a parry. Again, you can block regular attacks, but parry is what you want to do. You want to parry those green shots that the enemies shoot at you. Here's, for example, a boss, an early boss in the game, where he'll actually shoot you a lot of things, but you actually want to go and try to make sure that you're checking and parrying those green attacks whenever possible. And it's a mechanic throughout the game, and you'll be doing it a lot. It is very satisfying to do. It's actually one of my favorite mechanics. It is very satisfying to do. The Parry System. So, what else? What else is there in Doom the Dark Ages? So here's another upgrade you will get early on. This is the beginning of the second stage. You will get an upgrade to your shield, and it'll be the shield saw. So basically it adds these blades to the shield, and that'll basically make it almost like a... You can actually now throw it like a boomerang, and it'll stun enemies, and it'll do other particular mechanics in the game. And again, I won't reveal everything here, but basically the saw shield will, as you see there, is for stunning enemies. And I'll show it here, and there's another mechanic I want to show with the shields that are particularly captured footage, so I can show you guys what it does. So during the game, you'll see this thing called superheated metal, and these enemies here, they have shields that are like glowing red orange. That means that their shields are superheated, which means that when you throw this new saw shield, they will explode. And you kind of want to do that because it's going to be a mechanic that you're going to be using a lot. You also see different environment things where you can use that bashing. So for example, these enemies, they don't have the shield heated up, so you're gonna have to, if you throw the shield, it's just gonna bounce right off them. It's not gonna really trigger the explosion that you saw before, even though that guy died from a ricochet. What you want to do is move forward, and you actually want to damage the shield until it glows red like that. Then now when you throw it, they explode. There you go. That's a mechanic, and that's a mechanic that you will see throughout the game. For example, here you'll see it against a bigger enemy. That enemy will actually be surrounded by those shields. So you're gonna have to heat him up and then take away his shield. That way with the shield saw. So again, mechanic you're gonna have to want to use. Again, very fun game. Excellent mechanics with the whole parry system, as you see there, moving the shield, dashing, etc., etc. So alright, what else is in there in the game? Obviously, you want to get upgrades, and you're gonna need gold, which is the currency, or one of the currencies. There's other currencies that are harder to get later on. But basically, you're gonna walk around, you're gonna find some gold. You have to do that through exploration. You're also gonna find gold chests. The gold chest will actually give you like, I think around 50, give or take. I haven't done a full math on those, but basically you go and you have to spend them in this Sentinel Shrines. Basically an upgrade store. And when you go into the store, you are basically going to be able to upgrade your weapons, your shield, and your melee. Right here, I only have 2 weapons at the beginning. This is the first time you unlock the store, but you'll find that multiple times throughout the game. You can buy different upgrades for weapons, upgrades for your shield. Highly recommend you actually upgrade that early because it's actually pretty helpful. So in addition to Doom, I mean that's the basis of it. There's other gameplay types within the game. It's not just a first-person shooter in and of itself. There are 2 new things in Doom, the Dark Ages, and one of them is this giant mech gameplay. And again, I wanted to capture some of this so I can show everybody kind of like there's different elements. Most of the games are still first-person shooter Doom, classic Doom, as you saw there. But sometimes you will get into this mech, and you will basically wreak havoc as a giant Pacific Rim mech. It's a little bit of a slower gameplay, but it's still the same Doom philosophy kind of thing. It's more combo-based, and I'll show it real quick here in a second. So again, you're a giant mech here. You're obviously still in first person, and are running around the city. You can still sprint, you can melee for the most part, and you will have guns, which I will show quickly here. But basically, you're going to be doing kind of combos and finishers when you're in the giant mech. You're going to be building up your meter, and then you're going to be unleashing some of the stronger attacks that you see here. So here, dodging is going to be very important. So here I'm using my melee and dodge to charge up my melee bar here in the middle circle I just see there. And then I'm spending it to kind of try to damage the enemy. And then you're going to have to dodge. But it's at least a simple mechanic. It's a fun change of pace from the running around multiple rooms with guns. And it just feels very cool to be a giant mech and beat these enemies up. Here's some of the gun gameplay while you're in the giant mech. But again, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. That's one of the other gameplay elements I wanted to show. And there is one more gameplay element I wanted to show, and that is the dragon. So in Doom, the Dark Ages, you will also be able to pilot this giant dragon. And again, this happens early on in the game. I think level 5 or 6, give or take. I forgot what it was. Maybe it was still in level 4. But you basically gonna unlock him. It's kind of like a more 3D open world, open arena flying as perspective. But basically, you're gonna be flying and doing some dodging mechanics, charging up your shots, etc., etc. So here's some of the flying gameplay. And again, I'm not gonna show this too much because it's a little bit not too much later in the game, but it's still something where you're gonna have to unlock. There's something called assault mode, where when you press left trigger, you're gonna lock onto an enemy. Kind of like a very strong lock-on system. And basically, you're gonna flow in terms of this thing called assault mode, and you're gonna want to have to dodge the shots that are coming in there. I'm not doing a very good job at dodging because this is the first time I've ever tried it, but now dodging there, it powers up the shots, and that's how you basically defeat enemies, take down shields. And you can actually land with the dragon, so feel free to actually look for secret landing spots when you're playing as the dragon. Because there's a couple of secret areas that for example, I missed the first time I played the levels, etc., etc. But again, a fun switch of pace for Doom. But that's mostly it. So, quick high level impressions. Again, combat is very addictive. It's actually very rewarding. Here's some early combat mechanic before even I had the shield song. But basically, once you hit a strike with the combat and it flows and you're basically running around with the shields, parrying, exchanging weapons, it's a combo of chaos, a shooting gallery, and just awesome colors flowing around and just complete chaos that you're creating. Right, and also the exploration is very interesting in the game. I do like it. I like finding secrets. It's a change of pace from the room-to-room combat, but for the most part, yeah, combat is a lot of fun. It is very engaging. You can actually have different options where you can actually make it very easy to parry, etc., etc. Obviously, difficulty options that the game offers, and you can try different things. Obviously, there is a story. I didn't go too much into story for this game because, I'll be honest, I'm not much of a story guy when it comes to things. And you're playing Doom. You're basically looking for excuses to kill demons. Let's not joke within, like, the reason we're here is to go into different rooms and to kill different demons. But again, there is a story, there are cinematics. if you want to get into it. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of lore videos out there. I will need to review those because I'm not an expert on them. But again, that's for whoever is interested in the story. So overall, again, enemy variety is pretty interesting. The story is a little bit bare bones in my opinion, but honestly, it is a great title. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I got this from Xbox Game Pass, thankfully. But even then, this game, honestly, totally would have been worth it. I'm a huge fan of the previous Doom games, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. And yeah, this is right up my alley. I love this type of gameplay. This is super fun. And overall, if I had to give this, I recommend this title. If I had to review it, I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. But again, this is more like quick impressions of Doom: The Dark Ages and a quick gameplay overview. And that's mostly wraps up my video. I just wanted to give everybody a quick heads up on the gameplay, and that again, very super highly recommended. So with that, wraps up this video. So please like and subscribe, and have a good one, everyone.